Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to day 88 of me journaling my journey to becoming profitable and the best version of myself. Today, we ended up taking another loss, and today was another valuable lesson learned that definitely will never be making again. And um, actually two lessons learned that I'll never make again. One for sure, and another one was just a dumb mistake. But let's get into it. So today, I actually now let me just go over what I ended up taking. So going to the New York session, there was actually a setup that I ended up fading that ended up working out beautifully and was actually the better than the trade that I actually ended up taking. We ended up coming down. We left these lows. Like we had a lot of sell side liquidity. Price ended up ripping up. We ended up coming into this bearish 5 minute gap and sweeping out liquidity. So we had a sponsor. This imbalance was sponsoring this liquidity sweep. So we had a sweep inside of that 5 minute bearish gap, and then we had this beautiful inverse fair value gap right here. And I ended up fading this, and I didn't end up taking it, which was really unfortunate. This was a beautiful trade, and I really wish that I did take this. But what I ended up taking was, um, we ended up. Let me delete this. Beautiful trade. We ended up coming up into the 5 minute bearish gap. We pushed down all the way down here, and we left relative equal lows. So you guys can see this low and this low. We ended up leaving as my draw on liquidity, and I was looking for inverse fair value gap, and as you guys can see on trade C, the inverse fair value gap was right here. We had accumulation. So I thought after we inversed it, we would just dump, but unfortunately, I did not notice. On trade C, there's this bullish fair value gap that I didn't even notice because of how small it is. But on trading view, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty big, and you could clearly see it. We had this bullish fair value gap that I should have waited for us to inverse before entering this trade, and we ended up coming down, sweeping out liquidity as well as into this bullish gap and stopping me out. And this is where I should have called it a day. Just one loss. But somebody ended up calling me, talking about the charts, keeping me on the charts, and apparently, I don't know, I should have just got off, but somebody just called me talking about the charts, and he was just asking me questions, and I don't know what was going on, but apparently I just ended up staying on the charts. I saw another setup, and I ended up taking another trade. And as you guys know, I have a rule of just one trade per day, but I clearly broke that today by taking two, and I got punished for it. I ended up getting stopped out again. What I ended up waiting for was for us to come up into this five. We ended up coming up all the way up into this 5 minute gap, and just looking for distribution downwards. There was this 1 minute bearish gap for us to inverse right here, but there was a 2 minute gap that I had to wait for us to inverse. So as we inverse this gap, I ended up entering the trade and getting stopped out once again. So I ended up re-entering. So I ended up taking two losses on the day, $430. My initial trade was only $222. So really, 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 really unfortunate. Man, I'm so mad. But yeah, horrible way to start the month. We've been on a pretty big losing streak. Not pretty big. Well, 3 day losing streak, which is really unfortunate. But thankfully, we've been following decent risk management, and I'm just praying that we're able to come out of this. We currently have $1,002 left of drawdown. So, yeah, that's what's going on right now. It's pretty tough, but I feel like God's putting me through these challenges to shape me into the person I have to be to, get to profitability. Markets have been, I guess, a little bit tough, but it's all good. We'll get out of it. $1,002. So my risk is about $200 a day. That's what my risk should be. That's what it was today. But unfortunately, ended up being more. But yeah, I'm just hopefully we go on a decent win streak and get out of this. But if not, I think once we're like on the verge of blowing all the accounts, I'll just save them for CPI and hopefully we get them out that way. But until then, I also want to pass 2 more evals to have some more live accounts just to be able to fall back on something. But that's currently the case. But we've been through worse and we'll be able to come out of this. It's just super unfortunate what ended up happening, and we gotta journal this so we can journal this together. Oh, that really just ruined my mood, man. But I've been handling these losses a lot better. The first loss that I ended up getting stopped out, I was calm and I was okay with it because it was just a trade that didn't end up working out. But the second trade, I was pretty mad because obviously I ended up breaking my rules. June 1st. Good things never come easy. NQ. 3 micros. 2 trades. Oh. I ended up shorting twice. Short. Loss. Minus $430. Faded a beautiful trade that ended up working out, but then took an actual trade off, retracing into a 5-minute bearish gap with a 1-minute IFEG, but I did not notice that we also had another FEG right under that. Then I got a call that made me stay on the charts, and somehow I ended up re-entering and getting stopped out again. Pay a lot more attention to the time frames leading up to the 5-minute chart and pay attention to the small FEGs under your inversion. Never answer the phone while trading. Be completely isolated. I hate it when people call me while I'm trading. I just want to be completely alone. No distractions, man. Did I follow my rules? No, I did not. No, I did not. Don't re-enter trades. One a day. That's it. Don't pick up the phone while trading. Well, guys, that's that. It is what it is. There's nothing we can really do about it now except move on. That was day 88. I crashed out a little bit, but I'm being 100% transparent with you guys. That's the reality of trading. There's going to be some tough shit you have to get through, but at the end of the day, the good days make up for it. The bad days don't last, and hopefully things just start working out again. It's a bit of a losing streak, but even the best traders go on losing streaks. It happens. As long as you have risk management, you should be all right. Today, my risk was bad because I ended up re-entering. But, overall, if I stick to my system, I should be all right. But, yeah, anyways, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, this losing streak will come to an end.